Peace and love for the cat people. I didn't think you left Warwick.
I don't like to leave Warwick unless I have to.
Bananas.
75 yards from shore and come across a great white shark.
75 yards?
He calls himself a Swiftie. Unbelievable. Every single day went and got hot wieners my entire senior year.
Oh, yeah.
You're not even qualified to vote on this.
I want to know what the people think. They're trying to sell the house.
Ding, ding, ding. Winner, winner, chicken dinner.
Ding, ding, ding.
Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Welcome to episode number 6 of Shootin the SHT. Real banter with myself, Nick, and my good friend, one of my best friends in the world, JT.
Still on that train, huh? Being a nice guy.
I'm trying.
All
I'm
right.
absolutely trying. And it's not, trying in an inauthentic way. It's the truth. You're just one of my most favorite people in the entire world. So, and speaking of favorite people in the entire world, we have a very special guest on the podcast. It only took 6 episodes for us to buy a third microphone so that our producer, Nathaniel Davison, could
The third.
hop onto the pod. Welcome, Nate, dog.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Happy to have you.
He's a
Happy
hell
to
of a
be
guy.
Hell
Happy
of a guy.
to be here.
So what's new, John? I know this is episode 6, which is pretty wild. We were just talking about that.
Yeah?
It seems like we just started this thing.
Yeah.
It also seems like it's been a while since we've done one. It's kind of
does.
a weird little dynamic because we had that 75th anniversary special edition last time.
Yeah.
So tell me, what's new? What's good?
Keep busy work-wise. Trying to find a little time outside of work, but it's rare these days, but it's good stuff. Spring market's in full swing. Buyers looking, sellers selling, trying to grow the team, help everybody in here. It's a wild ride out there, but NFL draft was last week. It's a big sports season. We got the Bruins, the Celtics.
I didn't put that onto the wild card. We should, though, probably.
We
but.
could talk about that. Let's
Okay.
get into the draft.
Nate, what's new with you? This is give us a little intro. Give us a little background on Nate Dogg, where you're from, what you do, what you specialize in, and what's new in your world.
So what I specialize in. Well, first off, thanks for having me on, guys. Really appreciate it. It's good to be a part of
Thanks
this
for being here, bud.
podcast. I guess I specialize in podcasting now. That's new
Man
for
of
me.
many talents.
Yeah. So before I started working at Slocum, I used to work in the film and television industry. I did that for like 5 years, starting back in 2018. And then Nick made me a better offer, so here I am. An offer I couldn't refuse.
You killed that interview, by the way.
Oh,
killed it.
which one?
When you came to my house.
Oh, yeah.
So Nate, his primary role, he does a lot of things. He's the jack of all trades around here, but his primary role really is to photograph real estate, which he does a fantastic job of. So part of the interview process was I had him out to my house, and he was charged with doing a mock photo shoot. And man, his charm and charisma just won me over right out of the gate.
Oh, wow.
Nate, what he's neglecting to tell you, but you won't find this as a surprise. You know what really won this guy over?
I want to know.
You took a lifestyle shot
Yeah.
of him on his laptop at his kitchen island.
Sure.
And he was like, my God, I'm a handsome son of a gun. This guy makes me look this good. He's hired.
Yeah, it wasn't too hard to do. I do
No,
remember commenting on how white your teeth were.
That's what it was. It
Yeah.
wasn't even me saying that. It was him saying that. This guy's buttering me up right now. Absolutely. Nate, tell me a little bit about your background in the film and television industry. What are some of your most passionate and favorite projects that you've worked on? Some of the most interesting stories. I want to know. I want the tea. I want you to spill the tea. I want the dirt. What's going on? What have you been through?
Yeah, what have I been through? Oh, God. Yeah, it's been pretty traumatizing, honestly. So I started back in 2018. My first movie was Knives Out. That was my first project. That was a really cool project.
That sounds wild.
Yeah.
Knives Out. Sounds dangerous.
Whoa.
Yeah, you guys, have you seen it?
No.
So it's the Ryan Johnson kind of like murder mystery movie, but it's got like Daniel Craig, the guy who played James Bond, the newest James Bond. It's got him. It's got Jamie Lee Curtis. It's got Chris Evans, who played Captain America. So it was like a pretty, like a big film for the area. Boston actually has like a large film scene. A lot of people don't know that. Like Massachusetts has a really good tax credit. So movies have been coming to the area for a long time. I had no idea. Like I grew up in Dighton, Rehoboth. So that's like a little cow town in Bristol County, Mass. So I started on that, and I actually just finished writing and directing a feature that we managed to get on Amazon Prime called Leo and the Shark. That was the first thing I did. I wrote that in, I think, junior year of college. Got that premiered, and then just kind of went from set to set from there, and just met people and the more that you talk to people, obviously the word of mouth, that's how it works, right? It's
Sure.
like it's all word of mouth. So
It's who you know, man.
Yeah.
It's who you know.
That's exactly right. It's like that with any industry, really. But I started bottom of the rung and kind of worked my way up to, I guess, what you would consider middle management.
Okay. So we all dream about.
Yeah.
Writer, director,
Yeah.
producer of our podcast,
Nathaniel Davison.
the third.
Nate,
All
yep,
right,
that's
so-
right.
He's also being modest. I've heard some stories, that he's going to be modest right now, but I've heard stories about him and Bette Midler. He's worked with Neil Patrick Harris,
Really?
worked on Good Burger, worked on Hocus Pocus.
Yeah.
He's being modest over there.
He is. He's a very talented fellow.
I'm trying. You guys don't make it easy.
All right,
Got
Nate.
it.
So welcome. Thanks for being here. We really appreciate everything you bring to the table. Glad you finally graduated to a microphone. So,
What's new with you, Nicholas? We haven't touched on that.
I mean, I feel like I'm up to my eyeballs lately. It's spring market. I feel like I'm on the edge of a panic attack daily. It's
too.
It's fun. I love this time of year, but
It's the good kind of stress.
It is the good kind of stress. But for example, we've just been slammed with some new listings lately. Had one this past weekend. I had over 107 groups through over 3 days, mostly within 2 days of the open houses on Saturday and Sunday. And we ended up with a whopping 38 offers by
38
Monday night. I think that might have been a record for me.
I think that's a company record.
It might be. 38 was pretty insane. That spreadsheet, even printed in landscape mode on legal paper, still was 7 pages
Wow.
of spreadsheet just reviewing the offers. So
A lot to go through.
it was a lot to go through. Thankfully, a few of them really stood out, and it wasn't that difficult of a decision. And very happy for my clients. And that's where we're at with the market. It's just nuts. I'm trying to squeeze in a bunch of work this week and a podcast because I'm heading down to Washington, D.C. on Saturday to go to the NAR, National Association of Realtors,
Exciting.
mid-year legislative conference. So I'm excited to hear about the advocacy efforts, everything going on. Head over to the Hill, talk to some of our constituents who are there at the Capitol. And looking forward to doing that next week. Should be a fun time. I do enjoy this conference, and it's great to see what our National Association is working towards to help improve private property rights and the real estate industry at large. So
Fantastic. Looking forward to some great takeaways from that.
I'm sure we will discuss those at length. So tell me, John, I know since the last time we really had a regular podcast, you received a call from a local lender who gave you a little bit of feedback on your podcast skills.
You going to go there?
Well, I have a little bit of an idea on this.
He's probably going to listen to this.
I'm sure he is.
So it was brought to light that I will try to watch the number of ums that I say on a podcast.
I the first time we did a podcast, I had a gazillion ums, and I noticed it, and I try to work on it. I'm not great there yet, but I know it's something that we both have to work on. So let's circle this back to Nathan David really quick.
You're going to make him count all of them, aren't you?
I am.
Good
And
luck, buddy.
I think we should do a little side bet
Okay.
of whoever says the most ums has to donate $1 per to his latest greatest project, Til I Rot.
That's a great idea.
That's a decent,
Yeah,
I like that.
I like that.
For sure.
Okay,
Support a
starting
good
right
cause.
now.
Can I have a marker? I need to keep a little tally over here.
Well, that's
every time
the
I catch
unofficial
myself.
tally.
That's fair. I just want to try to catch myself.
Okay. I can give you a marker.
I would love a marker.
It's over there. Actually, I can't reach
It's
it. with the way
behind
this setup
the
is.
big pile of fresh polar seltzers, family made since 1885.
We're just waiting on the sponsorship call from Polar. So if you're out there, your move. Stole that one right from Nathan David.
All right, so some industry news.
Oh, you're driving the train.
Yeah, I'm going to drive for now.
Okay.
Industry news. So, Nicholas, recently we heard in the Sitzer-Burnett case, the proposed settlement that came out a little while ago, the judge gave a preliminary approval that won't be finished until, I said,
One.
final approval is due in November, but it sounds...
2.
This is going to be rough.
I'll keep count.
Okay.
Yeah.
I almost just did another one. It sounds like changes are still coming in
is good
July.
training.
Would you like to share some more with the class about what you're hearing there?
This is not a class. This is a collaborative discussion amongst 3 friends. So,
It's
yes.
so hard not to.
The Sitzer Burnett trial. That was not an
That was one.
Ooh.
Okay.
You counted those against me.
Okay.
Are we counting us? Or
I thought-
just ums?
I was marking my own uhs and ums.
You did an and an
I
and
did.
Nick did
and
an
I took both.
Okay, so it's 2-1.
So it's 2-1, I think. Yeah.
Okay. So the NAR
Tied.
this is gonna be the worst podcast
Worst
of all time.
drinking game ever. Yeah.
So the settlement has received preliminary approval from the judge of the Sitzer Burnett trial. Final approval is expected sometime in November. They felt the changes were fair, reasonable, and adequate. Changes are still set to go in force in July as of now. So give me your reaction to that, Mr. Jonathan Tatro.
I'm excited. I think it's good news to hear that the judge
That was a
gave,
reinforcement.
that the judge gave preliminary approval, and I think the proposed changes are going to be good and healthy for the industry. So I'm really excited to see some of those come into effect. The field for I didn't do it. The field for compensation being removed from MLS, I think is good. I'm excited about the change. I know here we've really rolled up our sleeves and gotten to work on dealing with these, helping the team work towards those changes coming, having the buyer representation agreement in place prior to touring. It's all about transparency. Talking to buyers, talking to sellers, making sure everyone understands in full transparency. I think it's really great things.
Speaking of having an agreement in place before touring, our good friends over at Zillow announced last night, May 1st, of a 7-day touring agreement. Talk to me about that non-exclusive 7-day agreement and if you think this is a good or bad thing for the industry.
I think it's a good thing. There's still a lot to learn about it because it was just released the night before last.
2 nights ago, I was incorrect.
Yes,
Last day of April.
correct.
How many days in April?
30.
Nice job.
So anyways, this Jesus Christ, this is so hard.
You could just donate or actually watch the promo video if you want to know what the project's even about, right?
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna say
I
that.
did donate, but I'm happy to donate more. It's a very good cause. But
Yeah,
I want to
yeah.
see who's I really just want to kick your ass is what it comes down to.
Okay.
So anyways, I'm excited about this. I think it's going to be good. I think we still have a lot to learn, but basically part of the proposed settlement is that there has to be a buyer representation agreement in place between a realtor and a buyer prior to touring homes together. And I think Zillow is trying to simplify and expedite that process as part of their handoff between consumer and agents. So more details to come, but I'm excited about it. I think it is going to be helpful.
I believe it's extremely important, especially for those types of situations where a consumer may not know a real estate agent or who they want to work with yet. So imagine saying, hey, I want to go see a home. Today, it's Saturday morning. We're having coffee. This one looks beautiful. Let's go check it out this afternoon. I'm going to call an agent, and I don't know this agent from Adam. And they're saying that they need to sign an agreement, and there's some type of minimum fee right up front. I understand that, but they don't even get a chance to build rapport. They don't get a chance to know the qualifications or
Never
skill
met them.
set that this agent brings to the table.
Right.
So I think this is a great opportunity just to have a chance to prove your value, prove your worth, let them know that you're there and able to help them accomplish their goals in a fashion that will be more beneficial to them than going at it alone. So I think it's a great thing. I have no problem getting in front of potential consumers and talking about that. I think it's difficult over the phone right out of the gate. But I think if you have a chance to sit down, tour a home, show your value, point out things that they may not know as they don't go through thousands of homes like we have, and show them what we can do to help them, again, get to the finish line of successfully closing on the home of their dreams.
Agreed. And I think the 7 days is appropriate because you don't want that to, again, you're just talking to this person for the first time. You've never met them. Nobody wants that to be 30 days, 180 days. Get to know them, meet them, decide if you're the right fit, prove your value to that consumer, and then you can sign something for a longer term.
I think it plays right along with our philosophy as a company, as an agency. Whether you're a seller or a buyer, all of the agreements that we've used over the years, we've always considered them day to day. We actually put a clause into our agreements, as you know, but letting our listeners know at home, that you can cancel this agreement anytime. It's essentially a handshake. You know, when we take a listing, we often list it for 6 months, 180 days, but we put a clause that's right in there that says, if you're not satisfied with our services, you can cancel this agreement at any point up until you accept an offer. No penalties, no fees, no hidden costs. We believe we have to prove our value each and every day. So I could care less if the agreement's 7 days, 7 hours, 7 minutes, 7 months, 7 years.
Yep.
If we're doing our job, at the end of the day, we're going to be compensated for that. And the client's going to be happy and hopefully want to refer us all of their family and friends in the future. And not only use this on this transaction, but future transactions as well.
Bingo. We want clients for life.
Clients for life. Nate Dogg,
What's up?
from a consumer perspective, when you bought a house the last time,
The first time, and
the first time, do you recall any types of conversations about compensation, about representation, about exclusive agency agreements?
I didn't know. Not really. No. I did a lot of my due diligence beforehand.
YouTube?
Yeah,
Okay.
tons of YouTube.
You're that
tons-
age.
Yeah, I mean, I just turned 31.
31, yeah.
Yeah,
that's-
so I bought back in
Kids these days.
I know.
2021, something like that. Yeah, so I did a lot of reading and research beforehand so that my realtor and I could go into the process knowing kind of what to expect. But I don't think my realtor and I had a lot of discussions about compensation, to be honest, that I recall anyways. But then again, my wife did handle some of the transaction stuff. But yeah, I don't think it was like a. If we did have a conversation, it was, oh yeah, I mean, you're someone who's helping us. You're qualified. You're good at what you do. I trusted her, so I wanted to offer her something. You know.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that's abnormal in the past. I'm not saying that your realtor did anything wrong. I think it was just kind of understood, or just not even something of concern, because most buyers assumed they didn't have to pay anything out of pocket.
For years, people said it wasn't out of pocket or it was free. Can't
Which is
say
totally
that.
incorrect.
Correct.
Yeah.
But that's the way it was for
Ooh.
several years.
Nice catch. I didn't even notice that.
man.
3-2. That's all for that one, folks. So let's move along to the next topic. Next topic was a report from Redfin that came out recently. 40% of homeowners could not afford their current home in today's market.
I believe that all day.
If I would have thought the number would have been higher,
Yeah.
to be honest. So 40% of current homeowners could not afford their home if they go buy it right now today.
Yeah.
I don't know if I could either.
No, I mean, I bought my house in 2019.
Sure.
And if I take today's values and today's rates, my mortgage payment would be double. More than double.
Easily. I mean, I bought mine in 2014. I refinanced into a 15-year loan years ago at like 2.4, 2.3% or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And to go in there today at its current value with 30-year mortgage, I could afford it, but I couldn't do the other things that I like to do with my life, travel with our family, things along those lines.
Oh, you like to travel?
I do like to travel. Quite a bit, actually.
Wow. Surprise.
Where are you going with that?
I'm just jet setting son of a gun. Anyways,
So this is what essentially is creating or really contributing towards this lock-in effect.
yeah.
People just, most of the time, whether they're moving up, they're looking for that second home with their family, whatever it might be, even if they want a bigger home, that payment is probably going to be triple at least what they're currently paying in their starter home.
Yeah.
So this is why so many people are not moving, are staying where they are, and people are staying in their homes much longer than they had in prior years.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the biggest problem with the inventory struggle we've had for several years now.
Eyes up.
Eyes up.
What is the average increase in a monthly payment now?
I already saw it.
Ah,
But I'm actually, my guess would have been higher.
okay. Nate Dogg,
Yeah, what's up?
you bought in 2021.
Yep.
Pretend you bought in 2019.
Okay.
What do you think the average mortgage payment is now versus 2019? How many more dollars per month?
Ooh. Oh man. It's got to be. Oh God, I don't know. 1,500 more.
Wow, that was high. But it doesn't. I mean,
My guess would have been close to that. Again, I
Yeah.
bought my house in 2019, and my payment would be more than double now.
yeah, it's a good point actually. But they say, according to Redfin, $650 more now than in 2019. Does seem low actually. Now that you
That
think
seems
about it.
low. Yeah.
It does. It does.
It's a lot lower than I would have guessed.
I mean,
Somebody
it's an
fact
average,
check
right?
Redfin.
Is it an average?
It is
like
the average.
nationwide.
It is.
The average
so
monthly mortgage payment, yes.
compared to us, I mean, like our area is a little bit more expensive. It can be
Sure.
than say like the Midwest or the South.
And there are
so.
places higher, there are places lower.
Absolutely. All right, we're moving into the wild card territory. If we haven't done enough of this already, but let's get into the wild card territory, John. Give me your first impressions. Anyone who's listened to this podcast knows that some more than others are Swifties here.
Dealing with a couple of Swifties.
One true Swiftie and one wannabe Swiftie, I would like to say.
Please go on and clarify that.
You couldn't even name the eras on the first podcast. You didn't know what your favorite era was. What kind of Swiftie doesn't know what their favorite era is?
Here's the difference.
What's the difference?
You are what I would call a bandwagon Swiftie.
Wow. I'm a late bloomer.
And
that's for
now you're obsessing a bit. I would say a good chunk of it is probably also bonding with your daughters.
sure.
I've been into T Swift for years, and I used to talk about it. I used to tell you what the great songs were, and you would just mock and ridicule me, saying that I have no taste in music. And then all of a sudden, she gets more popular, and oh, here we are. Big Swiftie on our hands.
I was wrong. I'm man enough to admit I was wrong. She's an artistic genius.
But don't climb on the bandwagon and then try to tell me I'm not a Swiftie.
Well,
That's all
I
I'm saying.
think you're a mid Swiftie.
Shots fired.
Anyway, let's move on to the important
Speaking of
topic.
shots fired, he hit me in the lip with a Nerf gun earlier.
That was
I
brutal.
did right in the lip. I thought for sure it was going
You had
to
a-
be a fat lip.
I
You
did
had a
too. I
list.
thought I was gonna have a fat lip for the
I
podcast.
did. I did think that.
I thought
So-
you looked kind of nice, honestly, with the enlarged lips. Very kissable.
Anyways,
just made it weird.
That's one for each.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Initial reactions to Tortured Poet Society, John.
It's good.
Okay.
Not my favorite.
Okay.
Not my favorite T Swift. Still good.
Yeah.
T Swift is basically what I listen to. I get in the car, and if I'm not listening to a real estate podcast or sports talk radio, it's just Taylor Swift on Spotify.
Okay. Slot it.
That's so weird.
But
Slot
it is not my favorite T Swift.
Okay. Like, is it your least favorite T Swift?
Oh boy. Now, I'm gonna put an asterisk next to this. Now, currently, yes.
Least favorite?
However,
Wow.
scroll to the bottom of the page, read the asterisk.
I didn't know there was an asterisk.
No, but that's usually where you find the
Okay.
the explanation.
I thought you meant you actually.
No,
put
that's
an
usually where you
asterisk.
find the explanation. Yeah. So, anyways, I feel like that's usually the case with me until music grows on me. When I first hear something, it takes a while for it to really click and for me to really like it and become obsessed with it. So, this is not uncommon for me with music.
I agree. My initial listen, my initial spin through the double album was
We're like
less,
12 hours into this album. You're like, I listened to the whole thing 4 times. What's your favorite song? And I was like, oh my God, I don't know.
So it has grown on me. The more I listen to it, the more I like it. It's a little bit somber, a little bit depressing at times. I had an you can add it to the tally. So that again, that's my take. I think it's grown on me. I would slot it right around like the middle of all of her albums. I wouldn't say it's anywhere near her best work in my opinion, my style, but it's definitely not my least favorite Taylor Swift album of all time. That's for sure.
So I don't know if you're going to pick up what I'm putting down here, but I was thinking about this earlier because I knew you were going to bring this up. So I agree 100% that the new album is kind of sad, depressing, and she's had other music like that. My favorite is that just a touch above the sad Taylor Swift.
Okay.
Is like the edgy, dark Taylor Swift.
Okay. So you must love this then. It's got to be
Blanks.
growing on you.
Blank Space, Bad Blood. Are you ready for it? Like those are.
So like Reputation era has got to be like right up there for you then, right?
Yeah, sure.
You don't even know. Doesn't even know. What do you think, Nate Dogg?
I've never heard a Taylor Swift album
Ever?
ever.
How's that possible? I guess I was in the same boat about a year ago.
Yeah, I've
A year ago, bandwagon.
I'm not saying I'm not a pink hat.
Yeah, no, I've heard a couple of her songs for sure, but never a full album. If I had 2 daughters, I think probably I'd be listening to her all the time. Right?
My girls right now are loving "So Long London." Not my favorite song, but it's pretty good. Florida, that's a jam right there. I mean,
You've
every
been singing
Disney,
that all day.
every Disney reel from now until I stop going to Disney will have to be to that song because it's a fantastic song. There's some other good ones there on there as well. Not too much talk about your boy Travis Kelce on there, huh? I think there's 1 or 2 songs.
No, but when they break up, that
They're not
album
breaking
is
up.
going to be absolute fire.
They're not breaking up. So I think there's some good ones on
We
there.
had a bet on
Down
that, didn't
Bad's
we?
good. We do have a bet on that. So I actually put it into my phone.
Oh, that's right.
I asked Siri to ask me. It's got to be
It was a
probably
year.
about 355 days from now.
Yeah.
If they are still together, then you owe me another Capital Grill dinner because you already going to owe me 1 for your prediction on mortgage rates, which definitely is not happening this year.
It's May.
It
It's
is May.
2nd.
You want to double down?
No.
Get your
So,
ding on.
anyways, Nathaniel
Nope, not my
Davidson
name.
the third, the man, the myth, the legend, the incredible gentleman that he is, the writer, director.
Really
Tell
laying it
us.
on thick.
Tell us about the big day you had yesterday.
The big day I had yesterday. The premiere? Is that what you're referring to?
No, it was not a premiere.
Well, it was in a way.
Well, he had no idea, first
It
and
was-
foremost. So John
yeah.
already donated money, and he's like, how'd the premiere come out?
because I have full confidence in Nathaniel Davidson as a writer and director.
If we're talking about his short film, can you please refer to the correct name? It's Nathan David Walker.
Have some goddamn respect. No, that's okay. He means well, Nick.
Nate, tell us some more.
Thank you for that introduction, John. It was very flattering. So the short film is called Till I Rot, and I believe what you're alluding to is that yesterday the crowdfunding campaign, the Seed and Spark page, launched, and we luckily raised 12% of our initial goal in the first day.
Give yourself a round of applause over there. It's a great first day.
Oh,
There we go. Let's
Hey,
go.
all right. All right, cool. So it's going well so far. We're funding from it was May 1st we started. The last day is at the end of this month, so it's a 30-day crowdfunding campaign. And we're just raising funds for production, and then once we're done making the film, we should be shooting at the end of June. We're gonna premiere it to some festivals and see where it goes and what happens.
What's that process look like? So do you have to apply to be included in a film festival?
Yeah, so basically, we're like building all of our own sets, all of our own props, and then we have all the locations locked, all the cast and crew and all that. We film the movie. We do 3 months of post-production. So that's the editing, the color grading, sound mixing. We have a composer who's like going to be working on the project. And then once that's done, you apply to a bunch of different festivals. And a lot of times they want like exclusivity rights. So if you get into like one of the bigger ones, they don't want you showing it anywhere else.
Really?
So you can't premiere it yourself. You can't throw it online until it premieres at that festival.
Okay.
So we're applying for a bunch, and the amount that we're applying for is contingent on how much of the budget we actually raise. Like there's the initial goal, which is 16K, and then the stretch goal is 18, and the 18 would allow us to, apply for a lot of different festivals. But either way, whatever people can give and help out with, that would be a huge help.
Let's
We're
just have
excited.
John keep talking, and you'll be at 18K before you know it.
So if you get into something like cans, or do you give them exclusivity?
It's can, but
I thought it was cans.
No, it's
I don't
can.
know what either
it's
one
It's
is.
French, but
I learned it on Entourage.
yeah, Cannes Film Festival. So what's the question?
Like if you get into that one, that's a big one, right?
It's a huge one,
You
yeah.
would give them exclusivity.
Oh, absolutely. They would kind of demand it. Like them, Sundance, Toronto Film Festival, all those. yeah.
Sundance, that's the other one.
So
on
if you get
Entourage.
into one of these big ones, you're going to fly us out there, right? As part of your early investors?
Well, I believe if you had read the incentives, I did say that you would be an executive producer at the higher tier levels. You start to be an executive producer.
we were there, right?
I think we are.
You
I think we were.
not quite.
Wow.
You donated a decent amount though, so I really appreciate any donation is appreciated.
John, keep talking. You'll be an executive producer.
But
That's my name on the plane.
we do have an incentive level that allows you to come to the premiere of the film. So yeah,
I'm there with bells on, assuming I don't
I would
have any other obligations.
love that. Yeah, I would love that if you guys came.
We'd love to be there.
But first,
So
we have
tell
to-
us about the film, because John didn't watch the video explaining everything and thought the film was already filmed.
That's not true.
Nick, can you give a description before I talk about it? Can you give a description of the pitch video? Because I thought it was hilarious.
To hear this.
It was really
So
funny.
Nate's pitch video talked about his inspiration for the film that came to be through his dreams after the unfortunate passing of his mother.
Yes.
And it was a battle with mental demons. Feeling trapped in some fashion, right? In a dark, scary room with some light coming through an antique window with teal walls.
Sure. Yeah.
So since he's laughing about this, is
I know so much more than you, so don't even go
no,
there.
no. So this is where those I logged into our Team Canva account one night to do some work, and all of a sudden the entire screen was taken over by these images of like a hand in a dark cage with a light coming through a window.
Demented, yeah.
So I take it that this is what he was working.
Really
Yes.
demented images. Really demented images.
I couldn't sleep for 2 weeks after I saw those images. So.
Blame AI, not me. I just gave them the prompts. It did the rest. Yeah, that's a funny way. That's a really interesting way of putting it. Yeah.
So
you
that means I
retained.
was-
It means you retained like the most important information.
You retained
Yeah.
like 3% of it, right?
All right, so it is. I'm going to use your favorite word, Nick. It is a very esoteric film,
It's
right?
a great word.
So
Nick, can you tell us what that means?
Absolutely. So esoteric is basically it's abstract, right?
right?
Nathan?
Yes.
So it is something that a small group would kind of know, kind of like an inside type thing. And yeah, Nate says it's abstract. Google said something a bit different. You know,
Why are
but
you Googling
No,
right
no,
now?
no. They
I
didn't
wanted to
say
explain the
something
exact
different.
definition
Well,
to
hold
you
on.
earlier because you didn't know it.
They did
All
not
right.
say something different. It was a variation of what I said.
It says intended for or likely to be understood by only a small number of people with a specialized knowledge or interest.
Well, there you go. So that's what abstract art is, right? It's something that is.
I'm not really an artist, so I
Oh,
don't.
wow.
right,
I don't
so-
know about that.
So Nate, tell us about the film from
Yes.
your eyes. You're the writer. You're the director.
Okay. So like Nick said, I wrote this movie after having a series of very intense dreams that were quite vivid, and they stuck with me for a long time. And the essential log line of the story is the dreamer wakes to find himself imprisoned in a cage by a sinister yet familiar entity. The only way out is to confront the demons that lurk in the recesses of his mind. Death may be better than being left to rot. Ooh. And the short's called Till I Rot. So it's about a dreamer who has to kind of journey back through his memories. It's this liminal space between memory and a dream state, essentially. And he has to journey back and kind of confront all these demons, as Nick said, this kind of like past trauma. And the trauma, the familial issues, they're kind of embodied in like different characters and also different visual metaphors, right? So if you look at the Seed and Spark campaign, the thumbnail, that image, the man that's locked in the rebar cage, the rebar cage itself is a visual metaphor for mental illness, right? So it's that feeling of being trapped, feeling like you're locked inside of yourself. I know that for a lot of people who read the script, they kind of all had different interpretations about some of the themes, which I thought was really cool. Like I first off, just anyone taking the time to read something that you've made and get invested in it is super, super cool. But the main like visual metaphor of the cage, everyone understood that. That was like the thing that everyone kept coming back to. And the way the movie is structured is it's kind of trippy. It is like kind of a dream state, but it's not like an acid trip or something. It's not so out there that you can't understand what's going on. There's a story there that you can follow. It's just a little bit weird. And I like weird stuff. So
We like getting weird around here. you
I
know?
do. Yeah.
All right.
We do. We get weird around here, and it's cool, man. So embrace your inner weirdness. But yeah, so I think it's very similar. If you guys know any David Lynch movies or anything that's just like a little bit strange and cool, and you can't quite put your finger on why it's interesting. That's kind of the vibe we're going for. That's like a dark fable in a lot of ways. I like that.
That's a good one right
Yeah,
there.
it is. It feels
Dark
like
fable.
it feels like a dark fable.
I like that.
Yeah.
I'm excited for this dark fable. I'm a little
too.
nervous about the nightmares it's going to cause me afterwards, but I am truly excited to see this come to fruition.
Yeah, I'm excited too. I embrace the nightmares. That's what I say.
Okay.
Embrace
All right.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm still very surprised that John donated to this and didn't even read about it.
Full faith in Nathan David.
To the point where he didn't even know the name of the short film.
That's not true.
We're reviewing the agenda before we hopped on about 5 minutes ago, and you said, "What's Till I Rot?"
No. That's not what I said, nor how I meant it. I know the name. I've discussed it with Nathaniel Davidson. I follow the Instagram page. I've interacted with it. So I'm well aware of what the name was. I saw Till I Rot on the agenda, so I wanted more details on it, knowing that I would be asked to talk about it.
Okay, good recovery.
Yeah. Thanks. No, that's fine.
What was your reaction?
I see what it's like.
Nathan David.
What, when he didn't know what it was?
Yes.
I knew what it was.
Sort of. It, honestly, like it started from like a dull ache to a cold indifference. Is what it turned into.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. So in other news, last Thursday, a week ago.
You just totally said we're not talking about this anymore.
Well, it went from, good content about Till I Rot to just another attack on me. So I thought we were done. I thought we were done with
sensitive.
the actual movie.
No.
But if he has more to share, I'm ready.
No. You guys, please
You'll
do.
link to the show, the Season Spark, in the show notes, right?
If you guys are cool with that,
absolutely.
I want to go on record, by the way, saying that I had no idea that we were going to talk about this until.
You didn't. I threw it on the agenda
Yeah.
about an
Yeah.
hour ago.
So I appreciate
And
that.
everyone, go support Nathaniel Davidson. Great guy. Great movie.
By supporting Nate, you support us, and we just can't thank you enough. And he's a special guy. We're excited to have him here. So,
Guys, come on.
Call me guys.
Get out of here.
all right, moving on.
So last Thursday was the NFL draft.
Yes,
A night that I know we both look forward to.
Very much so.
Big sports fans, big football fans. Many implications for the Patriots, the NFL, and of course, fantasy football.
yes.
So we were both paying close attention. We were texting back and forth. We may or may not have had some side wagers on said draft that I won.
Basically paid for a portion of my capital growth dinner already. So I
It
had
actually went towards Nikes. Don't worry about it.
I had $100 on the fact that Michael Penix wouldn't be drafted in the top 13.
13.
And the Falcons, after signing Kirk Cousins to over $100 million guaranteed money, drafted a quarterback in the top 10.
8th.
That guy should get fired, whoever their GM is. Terry, whatever his name is.
Eighth.
Fontenot? I don't know.
Arthur Blank, their owner, was fully on board with it.
Bill Belichick doesn't look so bad now, huh?
Nope. So I had decent confidence that he would go in the top 10, but it was really 11 and 13 that I thought would seal the deal. With the Vikings and the Raiders going at 11th and 13th, I was like, all right, there's no way he's getting out of there. But then they weren't. J.J. McCarthy started to slide. I was like, oh, boy, this could get close.
Oh, yeah.
But then the Falcons saved it and took him at 8th. So winner, chicken dinner.
That was a bad bet on my part, but
I know, but, live and
I
learn.
thought he was with his injury history and his age and his lack of scrambling ability, I thought for sure he was going to take a bit of a slide. But the run on quarterbacks was unprecedented in that draft.
Yeah.
What was it, 5 or 6 that went in the top 12?
6.
6 in the top 12. Wild. So how do you feel about Drake May coming to town to play for Coach Mayo?
It's Mayday.
Oh,
I'm excited. So I hope they don't, and I have a fear that they're going to. I hope they don't start him day one. I think they might. It would probably do him well to sit behind Jacoby for, doesn't have to be the whole year. The year would probably be healthy for him, but at least a month, half the year, something like that. I'm far from an expert, but from everything I've heard from the experts, the biggest challenge with him is his footwork. He's got a cannon for an arm, but work
I
on
don't
his
need his
footwork.
scouting profile, but do you like the pick?
I
Or-
do. I
Okay.
like the pick. Work on the footwork. Sit him for a bit. What
I
do you
like
think?
it. I like it. I would have traded down personally. I think there were plenty of quarterbacks. I said it. Give me a dash. So
They turned down 3 first-round picks. I was a little bummed about that, but
absolutely,
we'll see.
I probably would have traded down and taken that Giants pick at 6. taking an extra first rounder next year from a team with a bad quarterback, probably been picking twice in the top 10 to 15 again. That would have been the route I would have chosen to go down. But with that being said, a lot of people feel he has the most talent of many of the quarterbacks available. So, hey, can't teach talent, right?
Their draft overall, rate it 1 through 10.
7.2. What?
Devil. I was going to say 7.
I think it was a good draft. They addressed some needs. And I don't mean to rush us along too much, but Nathaniel Davidson does have to get over to Matt Wisnowski's house to take some photos. So we do have to pick this pace up a little bit here at some point, right?
All right, moving along to some industry news. The March 2024 hottest housing markets.
Top 10 hottest markets. Now, you already changed. Did you change it? I think you did. You said I had a typo, and I see you right there. And you're going to put it back because I was right, you were wrong.
I wasn't doing anything. So do you want to go 1 through 10 or do you want to go 10?
Let's
down
just
the
hit on
line?
it quick. So we're not going to spend too much time here, but Realtor.com came out with their top 10 hottest markets in the country right now. And there's certainly a theme here. If you look through these, it is almost predominantly the Northeast. The Northeast market is blazing right now.
Sure is.
So if you look at the top 10, we got Manchester, Nashua, New Hampshire, Rochester, New York, Springfield, Mass, Worcester, Concord, New Hampshire, Oshkosh, Bagosh, Wisconsin.
Oshkosh, Nina.
I know, but Columbus, Ohio, Boston, Cambridge, Newton, Massachusetts, someplace in Wisconsin, and the Providence Warwick metro market coming in the 10 spot.
Boom.
Boom. Number 10, in the country, hottest markets. Now, I had in my show notes Providence-Warwick-RI-MA, and John said, oh, you have a typo. Providence isn't in Massachusetts. Well, Mr. Funny Guy, we've actually got the Providence metro market, which encompasses Fall River and areas out in that direction in Bristol County. So, yes, part of the Providence-Warwick metro market is in Massachusetts, my friend.
That's beautiful. Thank you for that.
My pleasure. I'm here to educate and to inform.
All right. So
That's it. I thought we were going to go on something there. But anyway, why is actually Providence was what last year? They were one of the top 3 or 4 hottest markets, right? Earlier.
it's a different report.
No, I think it was a Realtor.com one, but it was a while ago. They do this every month. So.
Okay.
But anyway, top 10 ranking. Why do you think our metro market is in the top 10, John?
Like you said, partially because it's in the Northeast, where we're just seeing that supply and demand issue. Really, the Northeast remains hotter than a lot of other markets where things are flying, inventory's down, demand is high.
Hot.
We've talked about this before, but we're kind of sandwiched right in between South County, Rhode Island, where a lot of vacation goers go, but mainly we're between Boston and New York. It's kind of that middle ground. You also see a lot
Connecticut.
We're also seeing a lot of people who are priced out of those areas coming closer and into Rhode Island. So that's a big trend. But Rhode Island and Providence has a lot of beauty, charm, and history as well.
100% cultural and lifestyle appeal. We got supply and demand issues going on with under 800 single-family listings on the market across the entire state. It's kind of the perfect storm right now for increasing prices. We have not. I just did it. Dash.
Yeah, I think you did it twice.
Yeah, okay. What do you think is going to happen with Providence in the future, John?
I think it's going to continue for quite some time, actually. I think this is going to take a while to level off. So the Northeast is kind of, wow.
Polar crack.
You have just
Polar crack.
You muscled through that first seltzer in a hurry. So anyways, I think it's going to take a while for the supply and demand to level off. I think the demand remains strong in the Northeast as a whole, but particularly the Providence metro market. So I forecast continued growth.
I would tend to agree. Not only tend, I absolutely agree. All right, so the Redfin Home Price Index also indicates that the metros across the entire United States with the largest annual increases in home values between March of 2023 and March of 2024 coming in the number 2 spot, Providence RI, 14.9% appreciation over that time period. Number 1, Newark, New Jersey, 3, San Jose, California. 4, New York. 5, Nassau County. Detroit, Philadelphia, New Brunswick, New Jersey, Cleveland, Ohio, and Boston, Mass. Number 10. But our own Providence, Rhode Island, number 2 for the largest annual increases over that time period.
And not entirely. There's some California in there. There's some Michigan. But, again, a lot of Northeast.
A lot of Northeast. So I put up a poll on my Instagram story yesterday, I believe, actually, asking if people feel, will we ever see pre-2020 home values again? Did you look at that? Did you see it?
I didn't. I'd love to know the responses, though.
Guess what the ratio was on people who thought that home values would never get to pre-2020 values again?
Never get to 2020 again. It's been a sizable jump since 2020. I'm going to say there's also a lot of people out there that think there's going to be a crash. Fake news. Crap. I'm going to say 42%
42.
think we'll never see those again.
Okay. So the final tally on the results, it was almost an even 80-20 split. 80% of people think that we'll never see home values to pre-2020 levels once again.
Wow.
Yes.
How many people voted?
I had I think it was about 30-ish.
Oh, that's solid.
Votes. Yeah, I mean,
It's a good pool.
I'm not a social media
Clearly.
superstar by
Clearly.
any stretch, you know.
Yeah.
I'm not an HGTV celebrity,
No.
but you know, it was a decent number of people.
It was a good number.
It was a good sample size.
Yeah. Good for you.
One of the people who said they believe that home values will get below pre-2020 levels was Mr. Nathaniel Davison's better half.
Really?
Yes.
My wife?
Yeah.
Oh, I can't wait to tell her how wrong she is.
She thinks we're gonna see a dip.
She does. She
Wow.
does think that.
She might be right.
Wow.
She might
could
be.
You
Absolutely.
never know.
I hope she is.
I don't know. I do have a crystal ball, actually. It's over there, but it's not working correctly. So, yes. So that was the final results of that tally. That wraps up our industry news. I feel like this was a quick podcast. Any conclusion, final thoughts?
I don't know if it was that fast. Crap. Well, yeah, I'm curious to see what the official tally comes out to for the ahs and ums.
You have it at 8-7?
I have it at 8-7. I said one more than you, but I think you said something that I didn't mark down.
Okay.
So we shall see, my friend.
Okay. Tell me a bit about the background of your career, John. Where'd you start? Where'd you come from?
We've been over this.
Where'd you go?
I know.
You
but
just like to mock me for it. I don't know why.
No, I don't. I just want to know. I want the people to know. For people who just tuned into for the first time to Shootin the SHT, Real Banter with Nick and JT, tell them about your background.
Can I go through this without you laughing?
Absolutely. I'm not laughing. You're laughing.
So, I don't know why we're doing this, but I graduated high school. I went to trade school, learned the trades, carpentry, electrical,
What
plumbing,
school did you go to?
MTTI.
Tell me about your experience.
It was
there.
in East Providence at the time. So we did everything from, as I said, carpentry, electrical, plumbing, small engine repair, appliance repair, HVAC. But the main project and focus of it was we built like basically tiny houses, and we framed them. We sided them, roofing, windows. Then inside we had to design and mill our own trim work. So we took from flat lumber, we created our own baseboard, door trims, crown molding, designed my own electrical circuits. You're dying to not laugh right now. So we designed our own electrical circuits, our own plumbing, and then installed it all. Then from there, I interned with an electrician. And then from there, I took a job working with a Finnish carpenter, doing a lot of carpentry, installing cabinets, doing high-end kitchens. And then the economy went kaboom, and we started doing just about everything.
That's crazy. You did all that in a week.
Wild, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, he started here when he was 21 years old.
Right.
I did.
Yeah. So he did what, for a week when he was 20, 21?
And he worked at Home Depot and also Wickford Appliance for a while when he
Wow.
first started working.
This
here.
was after
Was after?
Home Depot and Wickford.
When did you go to school? When you were 12 for this?
I mean, I did some of this when I was 12. I was a hard worker. Still I am. I like to think
You
so.
are a hard worker. I'm
That's
not
called
gonna
child
debate that.
labor.
Why are we talking about this right now?
I honestly just
Is
wanted
the
you to keep
podcast over?
It
You
is
just-
over. I just wanted you to keep talking to get more ums out there.
I knew something was up. Yeah.
Anyway, rate this podcast.
Now?
Yes.
6.
Really?
Rude.
I'm sorry. I thought it was a great podcast.
But
We'll
it
give
kind of fits in.
9.4.
I've told the people before that your favorite hobby is just mocking me and trying to
Isn't that what buddies do?
roast me. So I already have a great intro. Someone proposed recently that we do a roast of you.
Okay.
Kind of like how they're doing a roast of
Sure.
Tom Brady.
I could take it.
And I'm ready for it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I know you're not ready for it because if we did, you'd be in the corner crying to yourself. So
No, there's a roast of you.
I know. I'm saying I can take it. I'm happy to
Okay.
bring it on.
So why am I going to cry in the corner?
If we did a roast of you, that's what I'm saying. If
Oh,
we
I could take it.
I don't know about that.
Oh, I could
You
take
are very sensitive.
So are you.
I am not sensitive.
I think you're both sensitive.
Nate, I think you added a lot to the pod. That's why I'm giving it a 9.3.
That's awesome. I was hoping John would maybe rate it a little higher.
Oh,
it's
yeah,
my
real
first
rating.
one.
All right. Nathaniel Davidson the third in the house talking about a great film, Till I Rot. Can't wait to see it in Cannes. So
I want
I will
Sundance.
give this a Sundance would be
I'll
cool
take
too.
either one.
I'll give this a solid 8-7.
Hell yeah. Yeah.
And that's a wrap on episode 6 of Shootin' the SHT
And we're out.
with Nick and JT. Real banter with Nick and JT. Until next time. Toodaloo. That's a little Byron the scene right there. I got to come up with a better close.
And we are.
I don't even know you anymore.
That's a wrap on today's episode of Shootin' the SHT. Be sure to subscribe wherever you heard this podcast so you never miss a future episode. And if you enjoyed this content, please share it with others and leave us a rating and a review. Buying, selling, or want to connect with Nick and JT? Visit Slocum Home Team on Facebook and Instagram or slocumhometeam.com. We'll see you next time.